everybody, welcome back to Three Sisters Homestead. Today we're in the kitchen and we're going to be making stuffed pepper soup. First we're going to start off by browning all of our meat. So we have 1 pound of ground beef and 1 pound of sage sausage. I use this sage sausage because the recipe does call for sage. So instead of adding sage as well, I just use the sausage that already has it in there. So if you want to use regular sausage, you can, but I prefer to just use this instead of having to add an extra ingredient. And we're going to turn this on a medium heat. Just chop it all up and let this brown. So we are going to be using some diced tomatoes, tomato sauce. These are diced bell peppers out of the freezer from our garden last year. Some garlic. And instead of using the full amount of the tomato sauce, I do use some vegetable juice. So we're going to be using vegetable juice as well. And we use the instant rice. I have used the long grain rice that takes longer to cook before, and it either isn't fully cooked or it gets mushy, so I like to use this 5-minute rice. Some salt, pepper, and Italian seasonings. And of course, like I told you guys before, I can't make soup without putting adobo in there. And then we are going to make some chicken broth from these chicken bouillon cubes. We need 14 ounces of chicken broth. So I'm taking 2 of these cubes, which makes 2 cups. So we're just going to use 14 ounces of it instead of the full 16 ounces. So we have our 2 cups of water in there and our 2 chicken bouillon cubes. And I'm just going to keep mixing these until they're fully dissolved. All right, now that this is fully dissolved, we are going to add this to our pot. Ooh, there's a little bit of chunk in there still, but that's okay. Okay. So now we are going to add a cup of onions to our meat. And this is about 1.5 cups, so we're not going to put all of it in there. And the recipe calls for 1 diced bell pepper, but that isn't enough for us, so we're going to put about 2 cups. And we're just going to cook these until the onions are translucent. I am actually going to put all 4 cups in there because this doesn't look like enough bell peppers to me. This recipe is from a recipe that we got from my mother's friend Jenny years and years ago. I don't even have the recipe written down anymore. I tried to get it from her, and she doesn't have it anywhere written down anymore either because we all just pretty much cook it from memory now at this point. That looks more right to me. But we've been cooking this since probably like 2008. So now we are going to add about a tablespoon of minced garlic to the meat and vegetables. Maybe another half a tablespoon. Okay. And then we are going to add our pepper and salt. We'll do about a teaspoon of pepper. Actually, we're going to add it into here. And I always oversalt stuff, so we're going to start with half a teaspoon of salt. And if it needs more salt, we'll add it later. And then, probably about a tablespoon of Italian seasoning. Then we're also going to add some adobo. probably about a tablespoon of that as well. I'm just gonna mix that garlic in. These onions look like they're about halfway done. I don't know who's out there making a bunch of noise with their car.
DCTV.
Okay, and then we're gonna mix in all of those seasonings as well. We are going to turn that on to a medium heat, and we're going to add our tomato sauce, our diced tomatoes, and our vegetable juice. Okay, now we're going to add in 1 can of tomato sauce. And this is 15 ounces. And then we're going to add about a cup of tomato juice. And you can use regular tomato juice, or you can use vegetable juice, or you can use a spicy vegetable juice if you'd like to give it a little bit of spice. But I gotta stir this up a little bit. And we're going to add that. Alright, and now we are going to add our diced tomatoes. This is 28 ounces. We're going to stir that all in. So I did buy extra tomatoes just in case I didn't feel like this was enough. So I am going to add another 14.5 ounces. And I think I'm going to drain the juice off first. Maybe that looks better. And then the meat is ready, so we are going to add the meat in as well. Move this closer. You can see a lot of the moisture from the peppers and onions, and the fat from the meat is all draining off to one side, because I don't like to add all of that fat in there. And we're just going to add enough of this meat in until the texture looks right. Might end up being all of it. We'll see. Stir it and look at that. And that definitely needs more. So we're just going to keep adding the meat until it looks right. Oop. See, I told you guys I am not the cleanest cook. I am a messy cook. I was going to say that this looks like it's missing something, but then I remembered the rice isn't in there yet. Okay, so all the meat is now in there. And we're just going to let this simmer while we get the rice started. I'm going to add 2 cups of water into our pot and let this come to a boil, and then we're going to add 2 cups of rice. Right now that this is boiling, we're going to add in our rice. I'm going to make sure that we get all of the rice in there. And we're just going to stir that in. We're going to turn the heat off and remove this from the heat. So we're going to put it on this back burner that we haven't used. Stir it up a little bit more. And we're going to add the lid and let this sit for 5 minutes. Alright, so our rice timer just went off. So we're going to take this and we're going to add it to our soup. And about half of it, stir it in, see if it needs to rest, which I think it's going to. A little bit more. Alright, now that is all of our ingredients. And I will put all of the ingredients in the description box below. But we're going to taste this and see if it needs any more salt or any more seasonings. See, this is, I think it's missing something. I think it needs more salt, but like I told you guys, I have a tendency to oversalt things. So I don't think we're gonna put any more salt in there. I think we're just gonna leave it as is. And I can add more whatever to my bowl if I want to. And we're just gonna serve this up. Corey was the cameraman today because Shai didn't feel like helping today. So this is gonna be for dinner. I'll probably eat this. I'll eat it for lunch tomorrow, and we'll probably eat it for dinner as well. So that is it. Looks delicious. And again, like I said, I'll leave the recipe in the description box below. Please like, subscribe, and share, and we'll see you guys in the next video.